right, everybody, welcome to the Touch of Gaming podcast. This is episode number 123. Recording this on Black Friday, so all you Americans, hopefully you stayed safe and didn't get beaten up in a Walmart somewhere. As always, I'm your host Lloyd Hannison, and joining me and partially beaten up, Jared Schultz.
Hey Lloyd, how you doing?
I'm doing good. How about yourself, man?
I've been better.
You survived Black Friday, though.
I did, and I did most of my Black Friday shopping online, so I did not sustain any injuries.
That is the safe way to do it. You don't get beaten up. You might only get like a sore finger from clicking the mouse too much. That's about as bad as it's going to get. Yeah,
but unfortunately, I came down a little sick, and weird enough, I got pink eye, so...
Gross.
Yeah.
Gross.
So if you see anything coming out of my eye, just ignore it.
Yeah, that the pus oozing from your face is just it's normal. Don't be concerned, anybody.
I'm aware.
Awesome. Well, let's get into this. Again, we missed last week because I was on a business trip. I was out in Florida, and it was actually really awesome. My hotel was right by downtown Disney in Orlando, Florida. So I went over to downtown Disney and drank outside at a really sweet Irish pub with like live singers and a band from like Ireland flown down there. Disney is the most magical place on earth. It's just like, I don't know. I would love to go there every single day. I spent way too much money on stuffed animals and T-shirts and other Disney sort of swaggy kind of things. And then I came home and I got my Wii U. So I've been spending a lot of money, Jared, and it's not Black Friday up here in Canada. So I've been paying full price for it. So I'm kind of crazy, I think I can say safely.
Yeah, you need some time. Your wallet needs a break.
Yeah, it's on fire. Like it's like warm to the touch now. Like I can't actually touch it with bare hands. I have to put mitts on or gloves, depending on which part of the world you're in, to hold it because it's smoking. It's so hot for being used so much. Anyway,
yeah, I know that feeling.
Anyway, enough of that. Let's get into the show. First off, I just wanted to mention to everybody that maybe doesn't go to the website that often. I've launched a new look and feel for VGPodcast.com. Just making it a little bit quicker. It was starting to bog down and it was slow, and I just wanted something that's a little bit more modern and kind of responsive. So if you look at this on your iPhone and your iPad and your computer, everything's being resized on the fly to still look good. Based on the device that you're on. So hopefully it loads faster. I'd love if you guys can check it out and then shoot me an email at vgpodcast.com with your thoughts. If anything's not looking good or whatever, we can hopefully then get that all fixed up. Right now there's pretty much every post, so there's something like 190 or 200 posts, or maybe even more. I should really look into that. Basically, every single podcast that I've ever done, all the way from the PSP podcast up to the ToG and bonus stage, I have to add an image to every post because of the plugin I was using to do a featured image before. Didn't get converted over properly, so now there's like no images on all the posts. So I have to go and fix that. So don't worry if you're poking around and trying to find things. Some things might look a little bit broken, but I think overall it's a much better look and feel than the last version of the Touch of Gaming website, or the VG Podcast website. But Touch of Gaming and all that stuff still has all their own pages on there as well. So Jared, what do you think of the new look?
I like it. I like how snappy it is, and I think it looks really good.
Yeah, thanks, man. I think it looks good. I actually bought a theme from a Black Friday sale, so I actually did buy something for Black Friday, and then I hacked it apart and changed a bunch of stuff. But I use it as a base to kind of do sort of the heavy lifting for the responsiveness for it, because I didn't want to. I mean, I did want to do it myself, but I don't have that much time in the world to do it. So I base it on a theme that I bought on Black Friday. So I guess I'm an honorary American, Jared. I'm supporting the American economy, both in Disney and here on Black Friday. This is a wonderful thing. Go America.
We appreciate it, especially since you're not spending your money on your NFL and NHL jerseys, right?
Yeah, that's freaking NHL. Ugh.
I probably shouldn't have brought that up. Right?
Oh, I'm angry now. I'm going to shut off the show, Jared. You're making me mad, Jared. Anyway, let's get into the show. Jared, what have you been playing lately, man? It's been a couple weeks since we last talked.
Yeah, so I've actually had quite a bit of time to play. However, I've buried the majority of it in a single game, which the podcast listeners have already heard about, and that would be Horn.
Good game.
I actually beat it late on Wednesday night. And yeah, it's really good. I get a little bit frustrated. I feel like they should be dropping a bit more money because you can't
Right.
really upgrade a lot of your own stuff. You have to basically I was able to upgrade one sword all the way and my pendant all the way, and besides that I wasn't able to do a lot unless I did a lot of grinding that I didn't want to do.
Right.
So either that or paid money, and I didn't want to do either of those things. But it's really good. It did feel a little repetitive by the end. I don't know.
Yeah, yeah, it's kind of the same thing over and over. They throw new monsters at you, but they're really just like recolored versions of the old monsters. It's
Exactly. And also, you lied a little on this one, Lloyd, because you told me it was like a 6-hour game, and I totally spent like 12 on it. So
yeah, if you do all the side, if you look around, if you're trying to get all of the cores by like there's hidden cores in every level, there's those little flying guys hidden in every level. If you try to do all that, it definitely will take you. I think it's probably more for me. It was like 8.5 hours maybe. So
yeah, maybe I just suck.
could be that too. That could be the problem, Jared.
Yeah, I got to the end guy and I didn't have any cores left.
Yes.
And I had like 2 potions, and so I used them. But the game, this is really annoying to me. When you go back and load a checkpoint, you lose any potions that you may have used since that checkpoint.
Yeah.
And that's really, really frustrating because I'd use like a potion, and on the end guy, I couldn't do it. So rather than like grind it all, I totally played the first form of the end guy like 20 times, and then the second form of him like 30 times, so that I could beat him without using a potion.
Nice.
Probably would have been faster for me to just go, grind and get a couple of potions, but I did not do that. I refused to. So.
I was going to say that there's a perfect solution. You could just go buy cores from the in-game store. You could spend a couple dollars and it would solve all your problems.
Yeah, I probably spent 2 hours on the last boss just because I didn't have any potions and I didn't want to grind, and I just wanted to be done with the game. So anyway, everyone's heard about Horn. It's old news. The only reason I'm finally playing it is because, I got that iPod Touch upgrade that now plays it and plays it well, and it looks really, really great. So then I've been playing Animal Legends. I actually put a post out there on VG Podcasts forums for other people to play with me, and I had a couple of stalwart listeners that always come along and join, like what is it, Smurgle, like SMRGOL or whatever.
Smeagol. I don't know.
What's that?
I call him Smeagol, but that might not even be how it's pronounced. I'm not sure.
Anyway, came along and joined me for it. The game is a freemium game, and it has a little bit of city building with it, but it also has like tactical battles. You have you start off with a rhino, and you can get multiple rhinos, and then you get raccoons, and you get owls. However, like the raccoons are immensely more powerful than the rhinos, which first of all doesn't make sense, right?
Yeah.
Think about it. Raccoons, yeah.
They don't
No.
they don't have big solid chunks of like nail formed horns on their face that they can attack things with.
Exactly. And for some reason though, they're way stronger, and then the owl is even stronger. Like, it's really like an owl over a rhino. Like, give me a break. So, and then you go, and what happens is they have life, but they also have mana, and the mana rebuilds over time. And this is where the freemium aspect comes in. You can hurry up your mana. And this one's by Appy Entertainment, and they're the ones that have done like Face Fighter, and they did that Spellcraft game that was really good. Anyway, the Animal Legends is really, really good, except it's extremely slow if you're not going to pay anything. So I'd log in a couple times a day and I'd have fun with it, but you could only play for like 5 minutes before you run into that wall,
Right.
and that was just not that enjoyable to me.
Nice.
So I might be giving up on that one because I didn't get any, or because it's just going too slow. And then I've been playing Skylanders Lost Islands, which I am cursing you for, because Lloyd, you finally got me into Skylanders, and I have since went out and bought the starter pack of the original Skylanders, and then on a Black Friday sale, I found them for cheap, and so I'm the proud owner of 15 Skylanders now, and it's all been in like the last week and a half. And I blame you.
Your wife is gonna like send me arsenic in the mail. I think.
Only when she sees the credit card bill.
Yeah, yes, exactly.
Okay. Yeah, so that's what I've been playing, and I mean, that's a city builder. It's freemium, time-based. You send your guys off on adventures. It's fun. I like it.
Nice.
And it's kind of fun to use those codes to pull those guys in and get them for free. And so I have a few Skylanders running around, and as soon as my pile of them that I got shows up off the game, then all of a sudden I will advance very quickly in the game.
Have you clicked order on that window that you have open right now yet? By the way,
no, not yet.
Awesome. Okay, cool. So I've also been playing Skylanders Lost Islands. I'm actually really enjoying it. I've talked about it before. You're creating islands, putting buildings, different types of quests come up and things like that. But it's called Lost Islands, not Lost Islands. So there's multiple islands that you can explore, and you have to buy them. So the first island costs 5,000 gold, which takes a long time to get. And then the second one costs 150,000 gold, which costs it takes a little bit less time to get, but still a long time. And then
I thought it only cost 50,000.
That's right, it's 50. The third one costs 150,000, which took me a while to get. I just bought my third island, and the next one's going to cost me 400,000 gold. And it's getting to the point now where it's like, okay, I'm going to be grinding multiple times a day, doing long quests, just to gain as much energy as possible, to then turn that energy into as much gold as possible to buy all the other islands. So it's not as much hands-on for the last little while, which I don't think is a bad thing, I guess, because I'm not playing it 50 times a day. I'm playing it like 5 times a day or 4 times a day, but I'm still playing it and still really enjoying it. So I'll be curious to see what your thoughts are, Jared, as things move forward, if you're still sticking with it or if you're going to dump it. But I guess with all these Skylanders coming in the mail, you're at least going to play it for that long.
Seriously, I have to get my money out of them and play them in every game possible now, because I have way more than I had originally planned on.
Yeah, exactly. It's a good thing. And I've also been playing a few other things, like a few games here and there. Like I've been playing a little bit of Punch Quest, a little bit of Star Wars Angry Birds, things like that. But I've mainly been spending time this last week on my Wii U, which I'm going to be talking about a lot on the bonus stage. So if you're interested to hear my thoughts on the Wii U, how I really enjoy it, by the way. So if you want to hear a positive review or some positive thoughts on the Wii U, check out the bonus stage. Just go to vgpodcast.com. Episode number 15, I believe, is the episode I'm working on right now. And that will be out later, either this weekend or later tonight, probably this weekend. You can hear about mine and Jeff's thoughts on the Wii U, because he came over yesterday and we spent a good chunk of hours playing some games. And he's Mr. Negative when it comes to this type of stuff, and he had all sorts of snarky and, oh, look at this, it's a kid's game, oh, blah 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 blah. And then I let him play like Nintendo Land, and he's like, I hate myself, but I like this. And Nintendo Land's probably the most kiddie kind of game that I own for it. So you can hear more about that with the bonus stage. It's going to be an interesting little review and talk about the Wii U. But because of that, I've been spending a lot less time on my iOS this past week. And plus I was on a trip the week prior, so I didn't get much gaming time in. So about the only new game that I've picked up, and you guys probably know what it is, Skylanders Battlegrounds finally launched. It's $7, and I'll be reviewing it later in this episode because I've been playing a lot of that. That's about the only new game that I've been playing. So I'm sad to admit that it had the name Skylanders in the title, so I bought it sight unseen, and I feel kind of dirty about that point.
That's okay. We're not judging you.
No, there's many people that are judging me, but that's okay. I can deal with it.
Yeah, and you already have 40 characters. You might as well use them in another game, right?
Mm-hmm. Exactly. Plus, it's a game my kids like to watch me play. I've tried to let them play, but they don't quite grasp all the concepts. But they like watching me and killing things and stuff. So it's been good for that as well. Anyway, that's about it for what we've been playing. What do you say we move into news?
Sounds good.
Jared, it's a holiday there. We've already said it's Black Friday today. If you own an iOS device, it is a good time to go check out the App Store. Check out appshopper.com. There's been a whole pile of games that have been dropped in price. Like pretty much every Electronic Arts game, a lot of Chillingo games, a lot of pretty much like EA. I said already. Pretty much every major manufacturer or every major developer and distributor of games on the iOS App Store has put something on sale. So go to appshopper.com, do a search. You can get things like all the Sims games. You can get a whole bunch of other games for free. Some of them are on sale. Go check it out. I don't want to list them all here because they're changing daily. Some of them aren't on sale anymore. They were on sale yesterday. Some are on sale only today. So go hit appshopper.com, check out the price drop section, and look for games because you'll be buying some awesome titles for 99 cents and enjoying every second of it.
Yeah, it's kind of funny because it's almost like or all the developers knew that there's going to be lots of sales on it, and so they didn't want to release their big games. Except so really it was kind of a quiet week for releases, and the only one that I would know would probably there's 300 Dwarves, which is another tower defense game from Crescent Moon guys. But then there was also Heroes of Order and Chaos from Gameloft, and it's been receiving a lot of buzz. It's what is it? Multiplayer online battle arena. The
MOBA game.
MOBA. Yeah, so it's kind of like a League of Legends, and they're trying to do it. They keep trying to say it's the first one, and I know that I've played at least 2 others, so that's just them trying to push themselves up. But from everything I've seen so far, it looks good. I did download it, and I promise I will play it and get back to you before next week with kind of some at least thoughts and impressions, because I enjoy a MOBA every once in a while, so...
You enjoy
should be fun.
The odd MOBA every once in a while. I've checked it out and it looks really good. I've read some stories written about it, and I've played MOBAs before I even knew they were actually called MOBAs. So when they're talking about all these MOBA games, I'm like, oh, what the hell's a MOBA? What's all this stuff? And then I read about the game. I'm like, oh, I've played lots of games that are exactly like that. Some good stuff I've heard about this is that it's free with in-app purchases, but it's not like smack you in the face in-app purchases, and the missions themselves, the levels that you're, or I guess the battles that you're in can take upwards of like 40 minutes. So it's not like it's not like a jump in and play 5 minutes, get out type thing. It's probably close to playing something on like a console, like sitting at your PC with your mouse and keyboard and playing away. So people are saying a lot of really good things about it. So it's one that I definitely want to check out. I just need to find some time in the day with like 5 new Wii U games that I'm trying to play and have some stuff to talk about. So once all the Wii U craziness is done, I'm definitely going to be getting into this one as well and checking it out and hopefully playing some games with Jared even.
Yeah, I mean, that's surprising that it takes 45 minutes, but I guess, that's how long like Dota takes, but they also have to realize that usually the mobile market, you don't really sit down and play for 45 minutes that often. So anyway, we'll see what happens.
Yeah, exactly. Cool. So some more news. Rockstar has announced that Grand Theft Auto Vice City will be coming out on December 6th, and it's only going to be $5. So this is my favorite Grand Theft Auto. I played GTA Vice City, I don't know, so many hours. I would just run around in the environment, listen to the soundtrack. I loved everything about this game, so I can't wait to play it again with kind of the sort of remastered version on the iOS devices. So when that comes out on the 6th, you'll definitely be hearing some thoughts from me because I was a huge fan. We'll see if it still holds up after all these years.
Yeah, it's pretty cool, and it's amazing that that's coming out on like a mobile platform. I mean, obviously they've come out with other GTAs, so it's not that surprising, but Still, it's impressive.
And it's a large game, so I mean it's pretty impressive. And it's only $5, and it's coming out on iOS and Android at the same time. So
You better start cleaning off space now in order to make it by December 6th.
yeah, I need to get some of this stuff going and played and beaten, so I need to find some more. Can you sell me more time, Jared? Can you figure out a way that I can get more time in the day?
Seriously, it's only available through in-app purchase.
I'll have to look for the menu somewhere. I haven't found that menu yet. All right, moving on.
All right, OpenFeint. Do you remember OpenFeint?
I remember being obsessed with OpenFeint, and then Game Center came out, and I remember not caring at all about OpenFeint anymore.
That's almost exactly what happened. So OpenFeint was this big social platform. One of the cool things that it did was it combined iOS gaming with the Android gaming, and so you could play cross-platform through OpenFeint. And it was really cool because you'd be able to just, rack up scores, and they were doing all the things first that then Game Center came along and copied. However, we're not sad about that because it at least unified the platform, because at the time there's, OpenFeint and Plus and Crystal and all these other ones. And so with the Game Center, it finally made their just one, and OpenFeint ended up getting bought out by a big company named GREE, and this is like the history in 2 seconds. And well, GREE announced last week that they will be killing all OpenFeint servers. So if you have games currently that run on OpenFeint, they could have issues, may not work unless they're updated. And it was kind of a dirty move. I mean, they gave developers basically less than a month to say, okay, everyone has to update it, take out OpenFeint, or else your game's not going to work anymore.
Yeah, it's kind of it kind of sucks because they didn't give people more time. The heads of GREE, I can't remember the names and I can't find the article, actually came out, I believe today, and apologized to developers everywhere for the lack of time. They said originally they wanted to give everybody about a year of notice, or at least 6 months, and they gave like 2 months. So
not even 2 months, less than a month.
That's right. It is less than a month. What am I talking about?
Yeah, because it's shutting down like in December.
That's right. So really kind of sucks. I mean, the good thing is that, I guess not the good thing, but an okay thing that isn't going to make this a big deal, is that the shelf life of a game on iOS is like weeks. For a good game, it might be months. So most of the games that have been using OpenFeint are long since forgotten. Some of them are even, most of them, I guess, would be from developers that maybe haven't renewed their development contract with Apple, so their games have been removed from the App Store. So it's probably not such a huge deal. Like if this happened a year ago, it would have been a much bigger deal than it is now. But it still sucks. I mean, all these developers put time and money into supporting this network. GREE buys them up. It kind of goes nowhere, and then they shut the servers down. They apologized for doing it. Like I said, they didn't say why. My assumption is they're just costing way too much to support these servers, and they're not getting any return on their investment. So yeah, so if you have any games with OpenFeint, you might want to save some of your high scores with screenshots so you can prove it to your friends. Use the old school social network where you call people and then show them an image in person or through email might be a way to do it. Because in a month's time, you won't be able to do it in-game anymore.
Yeah, I was seeing some things from some developers that, some of them, even if they don't use OpenFeint and they use both OpenFeint and Game Center, that they were saying that they were going to have to go rip the OpenFeint stuff out before, or else it would break the game. So, I mean, there's going to be probably quite a few updates coming, because it's December 14th is the dead date on those servers. And so those games that are still using it will all have to either update, and you may have some of your favorite games that are gone if they're haven't been updated in a year or something. So
yeah, exactly. And there's also a lot of developers that were using OpenFeint to store save games. So they weren't using it much for achievements or anything else. They were using the built-in save game storage. So yeah, all those save games, and I'm sure everything else that was stored is all going to go away. So you might pick up a favorite game that didn't use Game Center for storage. It only used OpenFeint. Then you turn it on, and sure enough, your save game is done, which is never going to be fun. It's not a good thing, definitely. So
I think that's actually probably the same thing I read that was saying that they were going to have to change it. It's probably because of the save game. That would make sense.
Yeah, and a lot of developers write it in such a way that they assume that the OpenFeint servers are going to be there. So their game doesn't do proper fault checking, maybe. So it looks for a server, tries to contact it, and then it fails or crashes if it doesn't have that. So there's lots of things that could happen. But yeah, it kind of sucks. But hey, that's the way it goes. At least there's Game Center to fall back on. All right, moving on. This kind of hit me by surprise. I haven't bought it yet. I think I should, just because it's going to be so stupidly crazy. It's a game that hit the App Store this week. It's called Vengeance Woz With A Coz, and you play as Steve Wozniak. You probably know him as the round, lovable co-creator of Apple with Steve Jobs. He's like the bearded, nice guy that is just super friendly. He stars in this game with Danny Trejo, who is that, like, he always plays like the crazy Mexican gangster stereotype roles in movies. He's the big guy with long hair and tatted up everywhere. They star together in a game. Basically what happens is, in this game, the story is Woz's wife or girlfriend or whatever gets kidnapped, and Woz takes out on a trek to get her back, and then joins up with Danny Trejo, and they basically go together to save her. And it's like an old school 8-bit platformer. So bizarre. It's 99 cents on the App Store, and it's actually kind of like a prequel advert game for Danny Trejo's movie that's coming out next year called Vengeance. So it's kind of like a movie advertising game, and it stars like Steve Wozniak. Like, it's just, I don't understand what this is, but I want to play it. So I'll definitely have to pick this one up when I get a little bit more time, because it's just too bizarre not to play.
Extremely strange.
Yeah. Very, very weird. Anyway, we'll have more on Vengeance Woz With A Coz in a future episode, I'm sure. Yeah, we'll probably that will be saying that it's not very good or it's the best thing ever. So expect one of those two endings in a future episode of the show. Because
nothing Steve Wozniak would be middle, just okay.
Yeah, he's
it's either going to be an epic failure or be awesome. So
exactly.
I know that you loved Punch Quest.
Mm-hmm.
Punch Quest, it's the freemium game. However, they were very non-aggressive about trying to get you to play in. And they said it was downloaded, I think 5 million times was the last number I saw.
Yeah, it's a stupid amount of downloads.
It's crazy. But, well, they said that they were having such small percentage of people actually paying for it that they were not making enough money off of it.
Mm-hmm.
And so while it was a free game, they are now going non-freemium and going to try and make it more of a premium with some in-app stuff. And it's 99 cents, so it's still pretty cheap. Of course, they probably wish that they did that before they sold 5 million of them. But yeah, 99 cents. I don't know. I've been trying to decide whether or not this actually shows something about the freemium model, or if it's just a individual case.
I think it more shows the implementation of freemium, because in this game you didn't have to buy anything. Like, you could play the game with nothing limiting your progress. Most freemium games you'll hit a gate where you have to start paying to keep progressing at the same speed that you started out with, or at least do, like we've talked about a lot, like the coin doubler item. Make it available right at the start, make it apparent, and you'll get a lot of people that will just want to spend the buck on that or the $2 on that, so that the progress in the game is that much faster. They didn't do any of that. So this version is 99 cents. They now have like a punches doubler. It's $3 though, which is kind of crazy, but I bought it just to support the developers, because I love the game and I felt bad that I hadn't bought anything from them, so I did that. Like, most of the in-app purchases was all like cosmetic stuff, like hats and things. Like, it wasn't anything that, like, that you need to have a balance, I guess, in a game. You need to have items that help the player and also make the player look different from their friends. And they weren't doing enough of the helping the player, so people weren't spending the money. Hopefully with this change to 99 cents, they sell a couple couple like tens of thousands of them, so they can at least make some of that money, and then hopefully people that are really into it do buy things like the coin doubler or some of the other items as well. It would really suck if this development team basically loses money at the end of the day and can't make games anymore, because like all of the Rocket Cat stuff was awesome, and I would hate to see them go away because of a fail attempt at freemium.
Yeah, really interesting. I think that, you had mentioned that you had kind of wanted a punch doubler in it, and so now they gave it to you. It is $3, but still, I mean, I think maybe even had that option existed from the first, they might have done a little bit better, right?
Yeah, and if it was like right on the main screen, like double your punches, or you like say you play the game and you get like 300 punches, have text under, you would have 600 if you had the patented punch doubler 3000 available in the store, or something to kind of constantly like smack people in the face that there is an item that could have helped them there, but not bad enough that it's nagging them. It's just something that's more descriptive and more of a decoration on the screen. They would have probably had a good portion. Like I'm trying to remember some of the articles I read. They say like some of the games that have like 1 million downloads, you're looking at like 3 to 6% of people will spend money on the game. So you have to have enough items that 3 to 6% of your people will buy. So if you have 5 million people, if like 3% of 5 million people spend $1, I mean, that's still a good chunk of money. If you have 6%, obviously that's a lot better. But if you have people that are spending $2 or more, you can start making some real money. Like the Temple Run games, like but right at the start, it had a coin doubler, and it had ways to buy items to make the game easier to then get better. Punch Quest really didn't have that. It was awesome that it was so easy to play and get into without spending any money, but at the same time, it kind of sucks because the developers weren't making enough money.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think it just teaches us something more about the implementation, and obviously this is a new world. The whole idea of a freemium game hasn't been out that long, only a couple of years. It's still a pretty new idea.
Yep.
And I think that we just learned, in order to get people to actually convert, you have to offer something that they see as having a lot of value in the game, or else they won't, pony up the extra cash. So,
exactly.
It's all something, it's a learning, right? And
yeah, it's like you said, it's a new world. They just have to fail to learn what the best thing to do is. So hopefully this saves them so that they can come out with their next game, and that they do it right the next time.
Oh, yep.
Cool. All right, let's get into the reviews. Jared, why don't you kick off your review first?
All right. Well, my review this week is going to be a game called Word Wonders: The Tower of Babel. So Word Wonders, I heard about it actually from one of the listeners who was tweeting a lot about it.
Was that RJNC?
That's RJNC. But, so I thought, hey, he's really enjoying this game. I might as well go give it a try. It's $2.99, so it's a little bit more money. But I don't know. I always feel bad when I say $2.99 is a lot of money, because it's really not compared to everything.
You spent that on a Skylander, Jared.
I know. I just broke down and bought Giants.
Nice. Way to go, Jared.
Yeah, I've been sitting here debating it. Anyway, so I will probably not play much in the next week, because I'll be playing Skylanders the whole time. So
there's some applause for you.
Thanks, I appreciate it, Luke. So Word Wonders, it's kind of a strange game. Because the premise of it is that you are like a thief type person, and you're from a family, and you're trying to basically restore the individual language. It goes back to the Bible story about the Tower of Babel, and how at the Tower of Babel they, all the languages were confused, etc., etc. Well, so as you go through this and you're looking at it, it's kind of strange, because apparently the Tower of Babel was full of monsters, and you're trying to fight your way to the top. So there's 50 levels, and then you can play them on different difficulty levels that unlock as you level up. And it's kind of a unique little thing, because it's kind of like Puzzle Quest a little bit. that match three like RPG game.
Hmm.
But instead of the match three mechanic, they take that out and they put in like a crossword mechanic. So essentially, at any time, you will generally have 7 letters to make a word with, and there will be a word already on the board that you have to use to make your word. And so, you keep going through and you keep playing different monsters and uh, advancing up the Tower of Babel in order to unite the languages again. In addition, there's a couple of other mechanics here. There's gold coins scattered throughout the level, and if you play a letter on the gold coin, it means that you get that money, and then you can use those gold coins to buy stuff later, which I'll talk about in a minute. Additionally, there's like double word scores and triple letter and double letter, just like I don't know, say words with friends or something like that. And if you use those, you can do extra damage. So then that really leads me to how you do damage. So every letter, depending on how rare it is has a sliding scale between 1 and 4. So 1 is like, A, E, I, O, U, basically. It's the really common letters. And then Q and Y and all those are like 4. And what they'll have is they'll have a little symbol in each corner that based on that level. So say you have a 1, you have an E. It could either be a 1 energy or a 1 skull. And if you get when you place the word, it counts up all your skulls and does that much damage to the other guy. And then it counts up all your energy and it gives that to you. Well, then you can use those energies to do extra special moves to help you do whatever you need to do, right?
Mm.
So it's kind of a cool game, and it goes through. The battles play out pretty quickly, which is nice. And then you play through them. Like I said, there's 50 levels. You can play through them on 3 different difficulties. The difficulty levels are not that different from each other, which is a little strange. If you play it on a low difficulty level, it's just normal. If you play it on a high or a medium difficulty level, it will like take 2 life away from you every turn just because you're on a high difficulty level, and that's the way they manage that, which I'm not sure is the right way. It's a little strange, and I don't know. I'm just not sure I like that, but that's what they did it. And then occasionally after you beat guys, you will find treasure chests. And in these treasure chests, you'll actually find more money, and you'll also find items, as well as you'll find letters. And then that brings us to like this big meta game that's going on. And so as you're collecting these letters, and you can also use your gold coins to go buy letter packs or upgrades to your letters, you then have one big crossword board that you're trying to use as many of your letters on as possible, because whatever the value of that board is going to give you power-ups in the game in terms of a higher capacity to carry energy or more life, etc. So it's kind of weird how there's like the crossword metagame, but I actually really like it because that's kind of how it does its leveling mechanic. So it's kind of cool how they incorporate the point of the game into the leveling mechanic. And yeah, overall it's a good game. I do enjoy it. It's starting to feel a little repetitive, which maybe I'm just overly sensitive to repetitive. I don't know. But I played it for a couple of hours, and I'm really enjoying it. It does have a couple of things that are a little annoying. You don't get money very quickly unless you go buy a doubler, which we were just talking about. But to me, I don't mind a doubler if I'm not paying very much. But if I'm paying $3 for it, I don't want to then have to go drop more money on a doubler.
Right.
You can also go buy extra in-game currency if you want. Yeah, so that is Word Wonders, the Tower of Babel. $2.99 in the App Store. I'm going to give it a 4 out of 5 just because of those couple of little things. Sometimes it feels a little slow. I wish it doesn't seem to have all the time. The dictionary seems a little strange on it. Like sometimes a word that I use often will not be in there, but then they'll have words that I have no idea what they mean. And so I don't know exactly what dictionary they're using, but it's a little strange. So, but besides that, it's a really good game, and I enjoy it. And yeah, it's $2.99 on the App Store. I'm going to give it a 4 out of 5. If you're interested in puzzle games with the RPG elements, this is a new and interesting and innovative application of it. Or maybe you can, watch for it to go on sale and then support the developers by buying the coin doubler as soon as you get it. So, yeah, that's my review for today.
Cool. Well, thanks, Jared. That was good. I actually saw RGNC's post, and I was gonna pick it up just because he said it was so good. And you're like, oh no, I got it. I was like, oh, okay. Jared saved me on that one because he went and bought it first before I could.
Well, yeah, and he posted like 200 times about it.
Yeah.
So that's another thing. When you're doing the boost board, you can then tweet out like your results, and you get a bonus 25 coins if you do it.
Right.
So that's one way. If you don't want to get the coin doubler, if you're fine with spamming your Twitter followers, that's just as effective.
Yeah, and if you ever want to have less Twitter followers than you had the day before, that's a good way to go about doing it as well. I found that out with some games where I didn't realize I was spamming it that quite as much as I was, and it's like, oh, I lost 10 followers today. Maybe I should stop that. But yeah, to each their own, I guess, right?
Yeah, cool. Seriously. Sorry, I was muted out because I had to cough there.
No problem. Cool. All right. Well, let's get into my review. I'm going to be reviewing a game called Skylanders Battlegrounds. I'm actually in the middle of a battleground attack here. I guess when I paused the game last, I was in the middle of a battle. So I'm going to be doing that while I'm doing a review so that I can start reading off some of the menu items to you.
Do you need me to talk for just a minute?
Oh, no, it's good. No, it's good. It's
hey, do you get a unique character if you buy the mobile pack?
No, you don't. Unless you buy the one from GameStop, then you get a character that is only a character variant that's only available at GameStop. So it's the same character. It's Double Trouble, but it's a variant of Double Trouble called Royal Double Trouble. So if you're collecting the figures for the sake of collecting the figures, yes. If you're just doing it because you want different characters that you might not have before, no. Kind of a long, convoluted answer to your question.
I know. I knew the answer. I just wanted to.
You're helping me. Thanks,
yeah,
Jared.
So how much does that cost?
Well, let's get into it in a second. I'll get to that in a couple minutes. So Skylanders Battlegrounds hit the App Store. And thanks, Jared. That was smooth. I didn't pick up on it. Sorry about that. And it hit the App Store for $7. And this is the third game in kind of the Skylanders franchise from Activision and Vicarious Visions. So what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be doing a two-part review. The first part, I'm going to review what's been released now. The second review part is going to be after I get my mobile starter pack and also after the first content patch goes in. So Skylanders Battlegrounds it uses all the figures just like all the other ones. So if you have the little cards like I do that has a little code on it like I do, I'm going to cover up the code. But you can take the card in one of these things and just type in the code, and then you have your Skylander, so I can bring Igniter into the game. But what they've done with this one is they've come out with an actual physical pack for iOS. So you buy the starter kit for $40, or is it $50? It's $50, I think, $49.99, and it comes with a portal of power. So that's the little thing, the little glowing thing. You can kind of see it if you're watching the video. It's like portals of powers are right there. They're the little thing that you put the figures on and it brings them into the game. But it's a Bluetooth version, so it works with iOS. It comes with 3 figures. So it comes with, I think, Jetvac, which is a Series 2, so a giant, a new giant character, but not a giant. It's like a new character that came out with the Giants game. You get Double Trouble, which is from the first game. You get another character, Cinder, which is in pretty much all the starter packs, and you get an item called the Platinum Chest. And then also inside of there, you get a download code for the game. So you can either buy the game for $7 and play it with your figures, or just play it with grinding. Because if you can buy these characters with gems in the game without having to buy the gems. You can just grind and win the gems and then buy the characters. If you have characters already, you can type in the codes and they're in the game. Or if you buy the mobile battle pack, you can actually just drop a character on the portal and it will appear in the game. So it's good. It's different, and it works just like all the other ones, where you can still use all the toys. If you have the console games, if you have the toys, you can still use them with this game, which is kind of cool. So anyway, Skylanders Battlegrounds is the only real game of the other two. Like the first one was kind of like a shooting gallery, which was okay. It was a lot of fun, but I pretty much was done with it a couple weeks after it came out. Then there's the Lost Islands that Jared and I have been talking about, which is kind of like your freemium, like, I don't know, Farmville kind of one version. Battlegrounds is just what it sounds. It's a battle game, so it's not the same as the console version. It's kind of a watered down version of Battle from the console version, but it is really fun in its own right. So basically, the world is divided up into missions, and each of the missions has a set of levels. So the first mission, you have to kill a big tree, and he's a tree character that is in the Skylanders game, so an animated tree that beats you up. And he'll be the bad boss, but to get to the bad boss, you have to complete 10 levels. And the levels basically have you jumping into kind of like an old school RPG, kind of like a hex-based grid map. So you get brought into the map, and your character appears. And then you move from tile to tile just by tapping on it. And enemies that you're fighting will be on the map as well, so you can see the enemies and you can plan your way around if you want to fight them, which makes sense, or if you want to skip them if you don't want XP or stuff. And then you have to do a certain thing in each level. So oftentimes it's kill X number of a certain enemy. Other times it's find X number of an item. Like there might be three big chunks of cheese. They've stolen all the cheese stores and you have to go get them. Or there's lollipops because they're trying to rot all the kids' teeth. Like some really stupid story. But that's kind of like the goal in each level. And so there's the grid map. That's one part of it. You're going from grid to grid, trying to plan your way through it. On the grid, there's also treasure chests, just like in the game. So these treasure chests are locked behind a gate that you have to have a specific elemental version of a Skylander. So it might be an air gate, so you need an air Skylander, whether it's one you have a physical toy or whether you've bought it with coins to get at that treasure chest. On each level, there's also a present that is you can only open it if you use the day's elemental bonus item, or elemental bonus. So for today, it's like I don't know if you can see it on the screen. It's air. So if I use my air Skylander, I can open that one. And in all of those chests or things, there's bonus coins or gems. Coins are things that you win after every match, and gems are kind of like the premium currency, but you still win them after a lot of matches and also in these chests and things like that. So that's pretty much how the board is laid out. And then when you get into a battle, the game kind of zooms into kind of like a battle arena where you take place in a real-time battle with these characters. And it plays out a lot like Battleheart, where enemies appear on the screen and you're dragging lines from your Skylanders to those things. Your team consists of 2 Skylanders, and you can choose them based on whatever Skylanders you have in your arsenal. So if you've unlocked 5 Skylanders, you can choose any of those 5. You have your main character, and then you have which is called the leader, and then you have a sub-character. When you get to the screen where you can choose, and I've unlocked pretty much all the characters that are available now because I'm an idiot that has all the toys, because I have kids, and that's my excuse. But when you do that, you can see that each character, so this is my stealth elf if you're watching the video, you can choose up to 2 skills that you have as kind of your base attack skills. So you get one by default, and then you can unlock another slot for gems, which it's pretty small. I think it's like 20 gems to unlock that slot. And then you can choose a secondary skill. And then each of these skills has a certain level of upgrades available. So, for example, with Stealth Elf, there's Wound. So you'll be battling just normal, but then if you hit the power button for Wound, you'll actually do a strike that does like mega damage. And depending on how much you've upgraded it, you'll do more damage, obviously. Some of the characters are melee, some of them are ranged attack, some of them have a combination of both. So my current team that I've been using a lot is Stealth Elf, and I also use Prison Break, which is this big rock dude, and he's surprisingly enough, he's a big like heavy buff rock guy, but he does a melee because he shoots laser beams, and he has a skill that allows him to kind of buff the characters in my party. So some of the skills will be buffs or debuffs and things like that. So it's surprisingly deep for a game that's based off of kind of like a kid's game. Like there's a lot of these characters that could do things like they could do area of effects. They can do like kind of AOTs or DOTs for damage over time. It's really quite deep for what it is. And it's really good. So when you get into these arena battles, they play out in a number of waves. So you'll get a wave of characters, and you have a certain number of waves. When you beat it, you get rewarded, and you get rewarded with coins and sometimes gems and sometimes special items. Other things that they've done to make it to make you spend more money of your real money on it is there's an item called the Light of Champions, and if you buy it for 900 gems or 800 gems or whatever it was, which will take you forever to collect if you're not spending real money on this, it doubles your experience, so you level faster because you have a character level, and as you level up, you do more damage. And there's also when you complete a match and you get rewarded for it, there is a coin doubler, and you can only get that if you buy the base set and have the little platinum treasure chest on the portal with your other characters. And by the way, if you buy the base set that has all the stuff in it, you get rewarded with a whole bunch of stuff, including the Light of Champions and the coin doubler. So you can buy the Light of Champions. It's probably going to cost you like $20 out of pocket right away, or you can save up for it, or you can buy the base set for $50 and you get all that stuff included. So it's a really interesting kind of blend of spending a lot of money on an iOS game, or just playing it as you play it. So you buy the version that you can afford and do it that way. Kind of a neat little blend. In the version that's on the App Store right now, there's only 2 bosses. There's the tree guy, and then there's the Chompy Bot guy, which is like, there's these little characters called Chompies, and there's one of them that's in a big mech suit. On the screen, there's 2 other bosses, but they're not released yet, and they say that they're going to be constantly patching more stuff into it. And there's also the Activision social network that was patched into the Lost Islands, where it's supposed to store all of your Skylanders on the central server. This game doesn't have it yet, so I'm assuming that there's going to be a big patch in the near future, which will add all that stuff in. But anyway, I wanted to kind of review what is out there right now, because I'm enjoying it. As much as it's a kid's game, it is surprisingly deep, and it's really fun. Like it gives me kind of like an old tactical RPG kind of feel to it, and it's really simplified. Like I don't want to like get your hopes up that it's like the next Final Fantasy Tactics, because that's not what it is. But it's just kind of interesting. Like there's a whole bunch of different space types. They don't really do anything to the battle, but they give you different arenas to battle in. I played Battleground, or Borderlands on iOS. I finally picked it up, and there's like 2 different worlds that you can fight in. This one has like 8, so already it's like it's doing something better than Borderlands, and it's kind of the same game with kind of like you're dragging things. So it just really kind of made me realize like how good Vicarious Visions is doing at taking this IP and kind of developing kind of unique gameplay experiences for them. So anyway, that's kind of my review of Skylanders Battlegrounds. Review 1 of 2. As I said, I ordered the base set because I'm stupid, and I like spending money apparently. So I ordered it from the States to get that stupid unique character, because again, I'm stupid. So when that comes in, I'll update my review, and I'll kind of tell you how much different the game is with the portal, if it makes any difference. I hope that the content patch comes soon, because I've already kind of exhausted all the content in this game. But I did take a lot of time. Like, I've been playing hours each day, and it came out last Thursday, or no, it came out this Thursday, right? Or this Wednesday. No, it came out early because of Thanksgiving. So it came out Tuesday night, and it was for Wednesday release. Is that right, Jared?
Yeah, it came out in the middle of the day and just surprised everyone.
That's right. So
because it wasn't quite even Tuesday night, it was like Tuesday afternoon.
Exactly. So it came out on Tuesday. So I've been playing it every day since then. So that's like 4 days, give or take, a few hours or whatever. So I probably put about 10 hours into this game, and there's still some content left for me to go. And you can also level up all your characters, like level up all their skills, unlock all their skills. So there's a lot of stuff that you can do, and there's a lot of replayability. But I'm really curious to see what the other bosses bring to it. The boss battles, by the way, are really tough. Like, you're using a lot of like healing items and stuff to beat it. Like the tree guy, he goes in this mode where he spawns these little saplings to beat you up, but he's invulnerable when he does that, and stuff like that. So it's actually quite challenging for a game, like I said, that is based in Spyro, which was kind of a kid's game. It's surprisingly complex. So anyway, that's my review. Skylanders. It's $7. It's not cheap, and if you really want to get the most out of it, you're going to be buying physical characters or unlocking them in the game for 200 gems, and spending a lot of time grinding to get those gems. So depending if you're already a Skylanders fan, if you already have some characters, this game might be really good or kind of a grind fest. It'll be curious to see when I get my base set and it comes with a free version. I'll just give it to you, Jared, and you can kind of give me an idea about where you fall, because I own all the characters, so I didn't grind for anything. But you have a small collection of characters, and you might have to grind to unlock some of your favorites or whatever. So anyway, Skylanders Battlegrounds, $7. For me, it gets a 4 out of 5. It's fun, but the only thing that I have to say about it is it's kind of slow and kind of choppy in some areas, and I'm on an iPad 3, so I'm using a fairly new like iPad. It's not like this. It's not like it's a tiny thing. Apparently it's universal and will run on the iPhone as well, I believe. So your mileage may vary with that, but I've been playing it mainly on my iPad, and I've just been loving it. There are some areas where enemies will be kind of attacking you off the screen. The camera kind of zooms in and out as enemies come in and out. Sometimes it's the camera zoom is a little bit slower than enemies, so you'll notice you have like this glowing area under your feet, and you have to kind of move out of the way because someone off camera is targeting you. It's only happened a few times to me, so it's not like I don't know, something really, really terrible, but it is noticeable. Hopefully all that stuff will be patched out when the full like content release comes out. So anyway, Skylanders, 4 out of 5. Check it out if you're into Skylanders, I guess is what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, if you're into Skylanders, it makes sense, right? Because then you can use your guys over more things. But if you're not into Skylanders, this probably isn't the best place to get started.
Yeah, like the weird thing is you're paying $7, but then you have to grind or spend real money to get gems. So they're almost using freemium mechanics in a game that you're spending a lot of money on. I don't like that. Apparently when you buy the full mobile set, it pretty much unlocks everything in the game. So all of the special abilities and special potions and things that you have to buy in the game, I believe, are all unlocked, except for I think a couple of the like super expensive ones, and you get a healthy supply of each of them. So they're really trying to force everybody to buy the mobile starter set, but not everybody wants to buy a $50 iOS game when you're usually paying $1 or $2, and as you said, $3 seems really expensive. So I'll be curious to see how this sells. If you see a rash of them in stores for $10 being blown out, you know it didn't sell very well. So I guess only time will tell as this one kind of goes on.
Yeah, balancing's always hard when you have the in-app purchase, because my concern would be that if you buy the $50 pack, then like all of a sudden the fun's gone, because then you're not like leveling up, you're not doing all those things that are enjoyable about the game, and it's always something that companies that's one of the hardest things for them to do, is figure out the balancing on those mechanics. So. Yeah,
exactly. I'm going to be really curious to see how getting the portal will kind of change my game. With this one, if it really makes that much of a difference, or if it's just a way to milk another $40 from the consumer, we'll see. I decided to bite the bullet to kind of talk about it on the show, so we'll see what happens. All right, well, that's going to about do it for this episode. Jared, thanks for joining me, even though you're under the weather. Yeah, thanks. And I was
I'm
going
to go put some eye drops in, which sounds terrible. So.
I was going to give you another round of applause, but I'll leave that off.
I appreciate that.
You have to let me know how your Skylander experience is.
Oh man, you're ruining me, Lloyd. Gosh.
Yeah, I hate it. I've a couple other listeners that bought the game because I've recommended it, and I love it because I play it often with my kids. So it's immediately one of those games that I'm just gonna love forever because I've had so much fun playing with my kids. But not everybody has kids and can justify spending like tens or hundreds of dollars on little plastic figurines. So
yeah, and I think it might be a little too advanced for my 7-month-old son.
Well, you can try. You never know.
Just put a controller in his hand, see how he does.
You'll either eat it or be really good at the game. Either way, it's a win for the kid. All right, cool. So thanks for joining us, guys. Thanks for staying subscribed. Be sure to head on over to vgpodcast.com and let us know what you think of the new redesign. Is it faster? Does it look better? Are there any things that you'd like to see us change? Let us know, vgpodcast@gmail.com, or call our voicemail line, which is area code 505-VG-PODCAST. So that's going to about do it for episode 123 of The Touch of Gaming. We'll talk to you guys next week. Thanks again to Jared for joining me.
Always a pleasure, Lloyd.
All right. Talk to you guys next week.